Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. I am Adam Busher, and I'm joined, as always, by JP Russell.
Yellow.
Today, we are talking about Two for the Road, the 20th episode of Season 2, and the 45th episode overall. Our centric character is Ana Lucia Cortez. Two for the Road takes place on the 63rd and 64th day after the crash of Oceanic 815. JP.
Yes.
You ready for the recap?
Yeah, it took me until about 10 seconds ago to get the name Ana Lucia in my head and not Michelle Rodriguez, so we'll see how this goes.
Do what you got to do, man.
Sure.
Let's have that recap. Hit it.
Okay, so in this episode, we learn about Ana Lucia and how her mother's willing to throw her in jail for murder, but never taught her to not talk to strangers. Anna goes on a drunken, totally not creepy adventure with Christian Shepherd to Sydney, Australia. Not Sydney, France, not Sydney, Oklahoma, but Sydney, Australia. This episode has more people looking for guns than the ATF. Hurley tries to win the heart of some blonde lady. Someone hurt my sweet baby boy John Locke's leg, and Michael has a bad day at the jungle office. We are joined today by a new guest. Are we doing first name, last name? I don't know.
I guess it depends on if our guest is in the witness protection program or not.
Yes.
I am.
I am, but it's fine.
Yes. Yeah. We are joined today by Eric Rudkin. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on
the show, Eric.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself. First and foremost, are you a Lost fan? Did you watch Lost in its original run?
I feel like I watched enough of Lost in that I watched the very first episode when my family was all watching the pilot, and then I watched the very last episode when I came back from my freshman year of college, and those are the only 2 episodes I'd seen up to this point. I feel like that's the full Lost experience. So I kind of did what you guys are doing, but in my own way.
Right? No,
perfect.
I've other than this podcast, I've got 3 episodes up on you. Otherwise, it's I saw the pilot and I saw the finale. So. Oh, that's perfect. So then, in your spare time, what kind of shows do you watch? What kind of media do you tend to enjoy?
More into comedies than the dramas for the most part. Love me a good just procedural comedy. Any of this stuff going on, it's a good time. I like to play some video games. Just got done. I've been spending the quarantine doing a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, but that's the main thing I've been taking in. There you go. But no, other than that, it's a lot of just random TV shows I've been trying to get through that I've got on in the background while I'm doing anything else at the time. Just multitasking is kind of my go-to.
Well, and I may or may not be piggybacking off your Plex server. So I can attest that you have a very eclectic taste in movies and shows.
What would you say is probably your most recent favorite comedy? And by recent, maybe new in the past 5 years, 4 years?
New in the last 5 years or so. I really like The Good Place a whole lot. Really resonated with me. Into the whole Michael Schur, is that the guy's name? I'm blanking. Yeah, but pretty much all the stuff he's done has resonated with me a lot in a comedic level.
I've found that The Good Place very interesting because not that it's the first comedy to ever be serialized, but so many people latched onto this comedy. It was so popular, and the thing that I love about it, it is not just that it's funny, which it is, but I've always liked serialized things. So to be able to sit down and watch a comedy that is also serialized it's less emotionally draining than watching a serialized drama.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's uplifting and you get to follow along week to week. There's a payoff.
Yeah,
so
sometimes I'm here to be drained, but the last few months have not had that energy.
Right. There's only so much in the tank.
Right. Exactly.
Cool. Well, then, why don't we talk a little bit about Two for the Road, shall we?
Yeah.
Two for the Road. Two for the Road originally aired back on May 3rd, 2006. It was written by Elizabeth Sarnoff and Christina M. Kim and directed by Paul Edwards. Elizabeth Sarnoff, we've seen a couple of times, or maybe once or twice at this point. She wrote an episode with Drew Goddard that we had already talked about a while back, but this is the first episode that we have run into from Christina M. Kim. Christina M. Kim and Elizabeth Sarnoff write together a lot on Lost, and there's a kind of interesting little bit about this that I found out. For this specific episode, Two for the Road, Kim and Sarnoff were nominated for a WGA award for Best Episodic Drama,
Very cool.
which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And we've seen Paul Edwards a couple of times in the past as well. He directed JP's favorite episode so far, What Kate Did, which we talked about a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah, such a good episode.
But yeah, so I mean, all three of these folks, Elizabeth Sarnoff, Christina M. Kim, and Paul Edwards, are all in-house Lost folks. Paul started as a camera operator, went on to direct, I think, 20-something episodes of Lost.
Wait, he was a camera operator?
First and second season.
Okay, because I've got a history of dunking on whoever's pulling focus on this show, so I wonder.
It's probably not him if he's the operator.
Maybe not.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll look it up. We'll look it up off mic.
Okay.
And by that, I of course mean we're never going to look that up.
No, I'm just going to keep dunking on him.
Just pass it off as fact.
Continuous anonymous dunking. But yeah, so like Two for the Road. This is an Ana Lucia episode.
Yeah.
I don't even hardly know where to start. The beginning is always a good place to start, but even starting at the beginning,
We're gonna have to have a serious conversation about the police during this episode, and I don't know. Do we start with that? Do we wait till the end? I feel we got to work up to that. I feel like we got to work up to.
I think we'll get to, maybe we'll talk about it in one chunk at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, it kicks off with Michael is like borderline comatose in the jungle, and Kate and Jack are there. Again, we don't know how he got there. We don't know where he was. We don't know why Kate and Jack are out there waiting for him.
Yeah, what are they doing in the woods, sinners?
But they're like, oh, we gotta, like, I don't know, Jack says, he like starts shouting out in the woods, and Kate's like, let's just take care of him. And he's like, okay. But then, like, that's the last, we cut in immediately into Ana Lucia. Chronologically, we've seen Ana Lucia already in her first centric episode is called, I think, Collision, and it's from early in season 2. We here at Lost and Lost have not seen that episode. So this is our first little dive into the history of Ana Lucia Cortez. And it turns out that she's a member of the largest Los Angeles street gang that exists, the LAPD.
Oh. I thought we were easing into this. Oh, God.
And for anybody who's listening, remember, we skip episode recaps. So if they talked about what's going on between Ana Lucia and her mom, like they kind of recap it for us in this morgue scene, but like we don't know who this dude is. We don't, and I'm sure we'll find out later. But
I was trying to figure out. She said something about like Ma, but I couldn't figure out. It's revealed later on in the episode that it is in fact her mother. But you know the relationship. I was like, well, they're close, but I didn't. I wasn't sure.
She says it right before she quits. She's like, well, I guess Ma, I'm gonna leave or whatever.
Well, I played it back several times. I couldn't tell if she said Ma or if it was like Mal, or something like, if that was like her nickname or something. Oh, yeah,
because this episode is set in the 1930s, and Mal is a piece of slang that is actively used.
Mal was the name of Leonardo DiCaprio's wife in Inception. You leave me be.
That's an excellent point.
That's a point.
Now, are we sure that Inception didn't happen in the 1930s, though?
That's an even better point.
We're supposed to be dunking on the cops right now, not me.
Quick guest star shout out here to Rachel Ticotin. Is that how you pronounce her last name? The only thing I know her from, she's the prison guard on Con Air.
Oh God, that's. Oh man, that's a deep pull. Oh wow, okay.
What do you mean deep pull? I watch Con Air maybe 3 times a week.
It's one of my favorite airplane movies.
It's one of my favorite airplane movies starring John Cusack and Cole Meany from Star Trek.
Well, and I was trying to figure out, because, like, Michelle Rodriguez has definitely been a cop before, right? Like, she was in SWAT, I think.
It's pretty much all she does.
It's that and Fast and Furious, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, those are her two things, is mean cop and then mean lady car driver.
Yeah, she's definitely been a cop before. She was like she was like some sort of mercenary or something in Resident Evil, right? Like, she's always in some sort of like, aggressive position of authority or a position of violence.
I mean, she is one of those actors, though, where you just kind of put her in one of those, like, uniform and a gun, and you're like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we get it. We buy it. Yeah, exactly. My big takeaway from this opening scene between her and her potential mom here was just like, she's obviously got mommy issues here, and what we're seeing here is that they're Lost is an equal opportunity parental issues show.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of characters so far have daddy issues. Now we're getting some mommy issues, so it's it's nice to see that the fellas are spreading it around a little bit.
When she's talking to her mom, and we had an issue with this in. It might have been Kate's episode where she refers to her dad as daddy.
Yes.
And Ana Lucia refers to her mom as mommy on the phone. And I'm just like, can we just not? Can't, like...
2006 was a different time. You don't get it.
We didn't know about 9/11 in 2006.
We didn't.
Such an innocent time. Oh my God.
But yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, we listening to Kate call Sam Austin daddy, it's like, oh God. And then, but now, yeah, like here listening to Ana Lucia call her mom mommy, it's just like, I mean, like, I get sort of the regression. You always want somebody to take care of you when you're feeling vulnerable or something like that. But then also at the same time, it's like, you're still an adult. I don't know. Exactly. I guess I don't want to dunk on somebody's like personal relationships with their family or whatever, because that's, pretty complicated and everything like that. But I don't know. It's just... mommy.
It's gross. It's gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
So you mentioned in the recap that Michael was having a bad day. You know who else was not having a great day?
Oh.
Living Bruce, Henry, Ben Linus, Gale.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having a... Yeah.
When they first show him in the armory, his forehead is literally just from hairline to hairline, just a rainbow of purple and yellow. Like, in this guy
he's been a bit of a punching bag. And was that our last episode? Yeah, it was the last episode that we went over where he was.
It was when they bagged him. It was
right.
It was chronologically 6 episodes ago, but for us, last episode they bagged Henry Gale out in the jungle. So like in Lost time on island, he's been there like 6 days.
Yeah, I think they said they had him in there like 10 days or something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, it's just.
I know I haven't seen many episodes of this show. Did they handle time in any meaningful way? I know you said it's been X number of days, like 60 some days since the plane crashed, but as far as I know, everybody's just been sweaty the whole time. It's hard to tell how much time has actually passed.
It was sort of in the first season, it was kind of like an episode would be a day or two or so. So by the time we got to the end of the first season, it was, I think, 40 some odd days. Like the pilot covered like the first 3 days, and then like it just kind of chipped away at that. So a good rule of thumb is a day or two per episode.
Well, and in that regard, like, and we've mentioned on the show before how like, oh man, they've been there for a month and change or something like that, but all the guys just have perfect 5 o'clock shadow, except for Michael, who's definitely got a I've been doing weird stuff in the woods beard going on right now. Which I really kind of appreciate that.
Well, he earned that beard by doing weird stuff in the woods.
Exactly.
How do I get a beard like that? You don't want to know.
You have to scream into the void.
I want to do a quick poll here, a show of hands. Who saw it coming when Henry Gale jumped on Lucia?
Yeah, right?
A
little bit.
Like
we're all nodding.
He does the little, and she's like, "What? I can't hear you. Let me get closer." And I was like, as soon as that, I was like, "Okay, yeah, he's gonna fucking jump her." Like,
okay, so now we do need to talk about that. He has his hands bound
by all of the rope on the island.
All the rope. They made more rope just to tie him up more. And he's still...
They have nothing better they could use that rope for.
Right.
We've only got this one prisoner.
Yeah.
If we don't use all the rope, they won't give us more rope next season.
They, like, he's already in a locked room. Okay. Yeah. We have him bound. Okay. And he still manages to absolutely physically dominate her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you almost kills her.
Still,
straight up almost kills her.
She's got legs. She can kick. He only has now one real, like, point of bendiness in his arms. And she's still just like, nope, this is it. I'm going to die now. Like, you're a terrible cop. Or, well, I mean, she was a terrible cop, but
she's a terrible cop in more than one way.
Yeah. But her entire motive then for the rest of the jungle stuff is he bested me at armed combat, therefore I must kill him and murder later.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, like that's a total just like she's all full of vengeance because I mean, embarrassment basically. Like that's the only thing that you could take away from that. She got the jump on him. She could not defend herself, and now she's like, well, now I have to murder this man in cold blood. Shortly after that happens, where Henry jumps her, we get a cutaway before she goes to like mess him up or whatever. That there's somebody's laid up in the bed, and there's a set of crutches over there. And I was racking my brain. I was like, who in the like? It's not Sawyer because he was in there and he got shot, but that was a long time ago. And so then when Locke stumbles in with his leg like all fucked up, I was just like, yeah, suck it, dork. I'm glad you're hurt.
Wait, you were glad John Locke was hurt?
Oh yeah.
Take that back.
I will not.
You take that back as my sweet baby boy. Eric, I don't know if I mentioned this. John Locke can do no wrong. He's the best character in the show.
I don't think that's right, is it?
He has the most dad energy of any character, and I love him, and he's my sweet baby boy.
He's easily 30 years older than you. Maybe 25.
Time is subjective in this show.
Time is meaningless.
Yes.
Yeah, JP's obsessed. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, JP's obsession with John Locke, he's gonna, like, I don't know what he's gonna say about this, but I know what I want to say, and it is, I don't care that you got stabbed in the leg.
That's what happened. I thought a door fell on him.
Whatever happened to him, like that's the thing. We don't know right away until we found out later that apparently the blast door closed on him or something.
Fuck you guys. So we're kind of jumping all over the place. How do we want to handle?
That's what I wanted to mention that real quick because this is what made me think this with Locke's injury. I was like, we're 10 minutes into this episode, and this is the first time I've been this spun around in weeks, probably since we talked about since we watched Man Behind the Curtain. Like a ton of stuff has happened prior to this, notwithstanding any of the things we've actually seen. And so, yeah, we were just like 10 or 15 minutes into this, and I was like, the only thing I can really focus on right now is the Ana Lucia flashbacks, because what is happening present island time is just like, I'm totally spun around on it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people running around looking for guns, asking about guns. Yeah, Sawyer's got all the guns, but Jack also has a gun, and everyone wants the guns because they're going to go shoot the other people with the guns. And I'm like, it was exhausting.
Also, for big talk about Sawyer having all the guns, I think I only saw one gun throughout the whole episode.
Right, yeah. Right.
And then Sawyer didn't even realize it was missing when
I wrote
it was
that in huge letters at the bottom of my thing. How did he not realize his pistol was gone? That, like when he literally reached for his pants.
He'd been sitting on no gun.
Right. Which means one thing. He had sex with his pants on. He just utilized his zipper and had sex with his pants on, and there was no pants on, pants off. Guys, it's just called safe sex.
Safe sex is having a gun with you while you're having sex, but he blew it because it got swiped on him.
But that's what I'm saying.
And he didn't realize it till way later.
Right.
Maybe he's had that gun in his waistband so long that like he doesn't even like sense the presence of it there anymore. He's just so like, I don't know. There's literally no explanation as to what, like, I thought that the scene of Ana Lucia and him hooking up by the river as she's walking away was going to end with, oh, hey, by the way, give me my gun back. Because I was like, that's 100% why she's there.
Right. Well, and I know we're jumping all over the place here, but when, they're like having their little tussle and then she kisses him and, he's like, oh, what are you going to do now? It's like, yeah, I'm going to fuck you. And then I'll take your gun when you're in like post-sex, like brain or whatever.
She obviously doesn't know Sawyer as well as the rest of the survivors because she's one of the tailies and she's only been here for like a couple of weeks in their time. But like, she didn't have to go that far. Like, she probably could have been like, hey, Sawyer, do you want to do this Sudoku with me? And he would have been so fucking banjaxed by it. He'd been like, I'm all out of fours. And she would have just been gone with the gun already.
Hey, do you want to help me just straight murder this guy? Oh, yeah, here's all the guns.
So if we go back to Locke is wounded, the next sort of thing that I have anyway is that Locke, after Ana Lucia disappears post being attacked by Henry Gale / Ben Linus, Locke goes in there and he's like, why didn't you try to take me out? Like we've been alone in here together and stuff like that. Why'd you jump her and not me? And Henry Ben he's like, well, you're one of the good ones, Locke. And it gave me pause because I know how much of a manipulator that Ben is, and the second that came out of his mouth I was just like, okay, he's likely playing Locke here. He's like he's sort of like nibbling around the edges, looking for Locke's weaknesses, weak spots. I don't know. Like that was my first instinct when this little exchange was happening anyway.
Right. Like even though he's trapped in that room and tied up, he's not powerless. There's still a lot of mental manipulation he can do against all these people just based on who he is, who we're still trying to figure out who that is.
But yeah, like this is sort of one thing I wanted to ask you, Eric. Like you've only get a couple of moments here to see Henry. You don't know how. I don't even know if they say what his name. Like this might be another instance of like the writers forgetting to do the mandatory exposition of reintroducing us to characters. I don't even know. I don't even remember if they say who this dude is, like by name.
They get Henry. There's no. You were talking about a Ben just now. I don't recall.
Right, they're the same person.
Yeah,
I figured as much based on that.
So they do refer to him.
No, he's just a dude. They just call him Henry. He's just tied up in there. And the only context I got was that he is spokesperson for the others who may be other plane crash survivors from a different plane or something, maybe.
Right.
I don't think we know yet.
Well, and even within the context of this show where we're watching this out of order, we don't really know who the others are yet either.
But yeah, like what was your like early, like your first impression, I guess, of Henry?
Well, the first note I had is spooky white guy's mad about something. And I also have one in here that spooky white guy is holding all the cards and these guys don't know it. It just feels like it's kind of like what JP was just saying, that he is fully in control of this situation and everybody else is just kind of along for the ride, which is exactly how this entire episode plays out.
Yeah,
right. It feels very like, yes, you're beating me up right now, but I'm not going to be here forever. He knows that. And when I get out of here, y'all are in trouble. It's very like Hans Gruber. He's not physically intimidating unless you're Michelle Rodriguez. But well,
it's all like, I get the real vibe off him. It's like my bruises will heal, but the discord that I'm sowing amongst you is going to have so much more devastation on you than the beating you're laying upon me.
So Jack and Kate burst into the hatch with a unconscious Michael, and Jack is in very Jack fashion giving John a lot of attitude for John just asking very innocent questions. Like,
you would see it that way.
he's like, oh, so your plan worked? He's like, no. What? So what happened?
Okay.
Did you just find him in the woods? Like,
don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Jack.
Good.
No, these two, John and Jack, they cannot have a civil conversation between the two of them. One of them is always being petulant, and in this instance, it's Jack. Yes.
Yeah. Not to like be real male gaze about it, but whoever the wardrobe person was trying to find the absolute lowest cut jeans for Michelle Rodriguez possible.
I also noticed that.
And then I could only think that maybe she thought she had gone too far. And so she was like, now I need to get a really wide belt to sort of walk backward. These jeans are too low rise. I'm going to get the WWE Championship belt for her to wear so that we don't get standard and practices on us.
They had given her a championship bull riding belt, but then they're like, dial it back just a little bit. So we eventually get Michael to wake up, and he describes his time in the jungle, growing his gnarly jungle beard, and talks about the others and sort of what he observed them doing.
His intelligence on them is that they ain't shit, basically. Right? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. All I saw was 2 guns.
We can take them. We just have to go get the guns back from Sawyer.
Right.
That made me think of Jack's army, which was a brief thing that we talked about in a previous episode. It's like Locke was like, you're raising an army. The only reason you raise an army is to go to war. And it's like, apparently this is, you don't need an army. You just need, just grab everybody and just overwhelm them, like, with superior numbers. You don't even need to bring guns. They're literally twice as many of you as there are of them.
Right. And so we know that Michael's son, whose name I don't remember right now.
Walt.
Walt's been missing even in the context of this show for a while. So he suspects, and he's got that very like Liam Neeson, like, I'm going to get my child back sort of crazed look in his eyes. Like, so he's very much like
understandably distraught,
Yeah. At his wit's end. I need to get my son back. John and Michael and Kate and Jack decide that they're going to go get some guns and go shoot up the others.
Let's go to the gun store. Let's go to the island gun store, aka Sawyer's tent, I guess.
Is there like a 3-day cooling off period on the island?
I think that there might be. Like, I'm not sure what sort of gun control exists on the island, but I'm sure that they're being responsible.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, because everyone's just walking around with them in their waistbands.
And then forgetting that they're missing, and like not realizing that they've been stolen, and giving them to arguably the most irresponsible person on the island.
Oh,
or
my
letting
God.
the most irresponsible person on the island steal them somehow.
Yeah.
How Sawyer ended up with the guns, we don't know. But apparently he got his hands on them. And like, at this point, everybody's sort of okay with it. They're like, okay, let him hold on to the guns, give Sawyer something to do. Like,
It'll make him feel like a big man, and he'll shut up.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. That's the only explanation I can think of to it. It's just like,
give the big man his big guns and he'll feel better.
the lead up to them, like, again with when Ana Lucia goes to get a gun from him, he's just like out in the jungle picking mangoes and just like doing his Sawyer thing. It's just like,
It's exhausting.
yeah, that's
exhausting.
That's the best word to describe it. It's because she walks out there and she's like, hey, get off my mangoes. I spent all day picking those mangoes. It's like, A, you're not working that hard. B, like, there's you know what? I don't even want to talk about it.
But it even in the last episode that we watched, he goes on this little side quest with Hugo.
Maybe that's what was pissing me off about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this episode, it's like he just shows up and he's knocking mangoes out of trees, and I'm like, are we having another Sawyer side quest? Because he's kind
are we
of
getting a Sawyer C plot here where
also, he only had like 8 mangoes.
yeah.
for an all-day effort. Like, that's just bad efficiency.
got up at 6 a.m., headed out to the mango tree. Here it is, 3:30 in the afternoon. I got me 8 mangoes, a couple more of these, and I got a fruit salad.
I started by shooting them down, but then I just got mango juice, and that's hard to catch in my big hairy hands.
Maybe, I think that might have been what was frustrating, because as soon as we cut to Sawyer just by himself, maybe I must have flashbacks to the Sawyer Hurley side trek from the other episode, and it's just like, I don't want to spend 8 minutes with this.
He's chasing one rogue mango that's rolling down the river, and he goes on like a Pink Panther style adventure trying to catch the one mango.
But then, like, on the way, he finds Charlie or somebody, and he's like, hey, you gotta help me catch the mango.
Fuck Sawyer.
Fuck Sawyer right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to derail the conversation from the main, like, actually the main part of this, where they go to the beach to find the guns from Sawyer, and Jack's a psychopath right here. They're like,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
what? Like, right?
Like, his first thing that he does is he starts with direct question. Hey, where's the guns?
Right.
Like not a hey, how you doing? Then he takes the thing that Sawyer's reading and throws it in the fire.
Right. Like
that in and of itself.
Fucking bully, man. Like
you're missing the part where he put him back on the plane and gave him a swirly, and then he gave him a wedgie after that, and then threw him back down by the fire. Like you need to put all the details in Libby.
He gets lunch money.
Splashed a puddle on him. Yeah. And then so that's already like cranked up to 11. And then the third time he asks, he sticks a gun in his goddamn face.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I thought we were all in this together, man. Like
But again, it's the same thing with John before. There's no explaining the situation. There's no, hey, here's what's going on and we'll fill you in and we're going to be a team. It's, I am Jack. This is happening right now. I don't have time. Everything's on fire. Give me the guns. Like, it's just...
Right. It's a moment of honesty, a moment of like being forthcoming with information here would save so much time and so much aggravation amongst these characters. If Jack would just explain to Sawyer why he needed the guns, Sawyer would probably be like, yeah, okay, I have extra guns.
Right.
Like, have some.
Jesus Christ. It's just...
So, well, okay, so like Sawyer goes to defend himself. Like, he reaches for his pistol.
Right.
Like, Jack's not going to get the drop on him, right? Oh, wait. No. Sawyer found an opportunity to get some tang and lost his piece. So now he's...
Just,
I know we brought this up, but he was sitting down.
Exactly, right?
But, okay, so this means that he either had his pants on when she stole it, or... Which I don't know how that would have happened because she was like already standing up getting dressed. Or... He put his pants back on and didn't notice that there wasn't a gun back there.
Maybe he was just so distracted by the fact that he got a little, that he was just like in this post jungle hookup afterglow and just like walked away from the spring feeling good, chest out, just like, yeah, I still got it, like, and just didn't take a moment to check his everyday carry and like. I don't know. Like, no, there is no explanation. There's like Eric said it. He was sitting down. He should have felt it printing against his back. Like, there's no explanation as to why when he needed it, that was the moment he realized it had been gone for hours already.
Right. It's not, where did I put my cell phone? It's, that's right. I don't have a gun in my waistband right now.
If I were Jack in that moment, holding my pistol on him, and Sawyer reaches for his bag, he's like, oh, that bitch, she stole my gun. I'd be like, did she steal the rest of the guns? How come we left you in charge of the island's armaments for so long? What the fuck? Like...
Also, as soon as he starts reaching toward the back of his waistband where he always keeps his gun,
it's a slow draw contest.
This is time to nut up or shut up, dude. You either got to shoot Sawyer or you guys are just going to be in a standoff now.
God. Oh, man. Manufactured drama on the beach. Oh, Lordy.
Christ.
We going to talk about Hurley?
We could talk about her because I don't think because that's pretty much the end of the present day. The present story timeline is that Jack pulls the gun. Sawyer doesn't have his gun. He goes, that bitch stole my gun, and then Locke's like, Jack, oh shit, I forgot, I have something to tell you. And then we don't cut back to present time on the island. Right. At least the A plot. Like I think we still have some Hurley stuff to talk about. But yeah, this is probably a perfect opportunity to talk about the C plot of the story. Hurley and Libby.
Is that her name?
Yeah. We actually haven't, I don't think she's been introduced the couple of times we've seen her on the show.
Well, she was exited in this episode.
This might be the first time that she's had lines. And yeah, poor Cynthia Watrous. We hardly knew ye. Yeah, Libby. Libby's her name. And she's awesome. I love this actress. I love this character. And I really wish that we would have gotten an opportunity to see her. But now you know what happens to her. So like the next time we see her, you're probably going to be like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. That's how I was with Boone. Every time Boone comes up now, I'm like, I don't care. You're dead to me.
You're already dead. Eric, are you familiar with the character of Boone?
I recognize the name, but that's about it.
He was the first main cast character to die on the show.
Okay.
And the first episode we watched after the pilot was the episode that he died in.
Classic.
So, so yeah, Boone, we certainly hardly knew you. And yeah, anytime now he comes up, and I didn't realize, I don't think JP realized this either, that this would be a side effect of it. But now, anytime he pops up, I don't care. You're dead. Like, I don't give a shit.
And what's his sister's name?
Shannon. Yeah,
Shannon. Yeah, she got iced too.
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
didn't
just
see
like,
the episode where she died, but we saw the episode right after it. We saw her funeral, and so now we're like, Shannon, who gives a shit?
whatever she does is meaningless.
I guess you have her death to look forward to, but she dies in a really cool way. Like,
actually, Boone. Oh man, they almost took his leg off with a plane door. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty.
Maybe she'll have a wicked like combine accident. Hurley's got the hots for somebody. And he's trying to just be cool about it, man.
Yeah.
He's trying to also get some island hookup action going.
Yeah, it's like, why, spread it around. Saeed was getting busy with Shannon. Sawyer's hooking up. Like Jack is always popular with the ladies. Like
Sawyer got some in this episode.
Yeah, like Hurley, man, just let the big dog hunt. You know what I'm saying?
shooting a shot, dry crackers on the beach with no drinks. Like,
I actually made a note of this when he's raiding the pantry for the picnic supplies. He appears to grab a 4-pound bag of pinto beans off of the shelf and put it in his bag.
It's an
man after my own
it's an
heart.
aphrodisiac. Oh my god!
Cooked in the plastic. Just. It's like, is your date? Are you gonna like, hey, Libby, here's our first date idea. I'm gonna show you how to make an earthquake preparedness kit.
Oh my god! Yeah, he was just. It looked like he's grabbing cans of stuff. I wasn't sure if it was like relish or like what it was, but it was just like, I mean, we get from a previous episode that Hurley's not like the most suave guy, but he understands how humans eat.
He clearly has, like, we get the idea here at least that, like, when he's crushing a little bit, maybe his he gets too flustered to think clearly.
Sure. So Saeed tells Hurley about a great spot that's 3 kilometers away, and it's a beach. So rather than just walking on the beach to get to that other beach, they walk through the jungle.
And it's obviously easier to cut through the jungle.
Right.
Straight lines, as the crow flies.
Yes.
Oh man, like I feel in that moment I felt a little bit bad for Saeed because he was like, oh yeah, I took Shannon there on our first date, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a bummer. You had a girlfriend and then she died on the island. That's a bummer.
We're on an island with like monsters and polar bears and wild horses and people that want to kill us. You know what you should do? You should go like a mile away and like be outside of screaming distance just so you can go on the world's shittiest picnic.
Hey, that bag of pinto beans at least make a good weapon.
Like a blackjack. Like after others come after you, just whack them with that huge bag of pinto beans. That'll give you enough time to get away at least.
Hurley just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
It's practical.
They end up not at the special beach. They end up just back where they were.
That may be the hardest I laughed during this episode when she just went, look, there's gin.
No joke. I will send it to you in Discord. That picture of Jin is my desktop right now of him just giving that.
Wonderful.
Because
beautiful.
My note here is, why is a Jin thumbs up GIF not the first thing that comes up on Giphy when you type in thumbs up GIF? Because
it's perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah. Well, and before that, I just wrote Jin out here doing the Lord's work. He's so just like, I love it when there's people on the beach not dealing with all of the drama. It's just like people doing mundane stuff, and it's just like the silent observer
so good.
to Hugo just striking out.
I think that that's it. Let's talk about the flashbacks, I guess.
Sure.
Let's get into the heavy shit.
Okay.
Yep.
So we talked about it at the top of the episode. Ana Lucia and her mom go into this morgue and see this person, and Ana Lucia's mom's like, it's pretty obvious to me that you did this, and she essentially cops to it, but she's like, but also you don't. Her mom's like, we'll never be able to prosecute this because the person who did it knows what a cop would be looking for. So you've already gotten rid of all the evidence. You'll never go down for this or whatever. And she quits. She's like, maybe I wasn't cut out to be a cop. And Ana Lucia is like, I'm out.
So yeah, she she winds down after a long shift at the place with the most inflated drink prices, an airport bar. Mm-hmm. She's there so often that the bartender knows her by name. And
she knows the bartender too. Hey, right. Mike. Hey, Ana Lucia.
Yeah. Hey, are you ready for a $16
tequila and tonic?
Rail tequila straight up.
Yeah, no, it's drink time. And who does she meet at the bar?
It's fucking Christian Shepherd.
Welcome back to the show, John Terry.
Okay, he was on the show before.
He's
okay. That makes more sense.
He's a recurring guest character, and he's been in this is what the 8th episode we've done here. He's been in like 6 of them.
Yeah.
I thought this was his whole arc in that whole thing with him and his wife was supposed to be like reflective on Ana Lucia. And I'm like, what are they trying to say?
What do you think they were trying? Like, did you get a takeaway from that, thinking that this was John Terry's only bit?
I was like, I thought it was like they were talking about Ana Lucia trying to come in and like not take over every aspect of her life, and sometimes she needs to just go with the flow or like not try to intervene with everything. And I was like, that's a weird way to convey that message. And I was like, but okay.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, it's wild because like, again, we're watching this show out of order, and Christian Shepherd has been in this show a whole bunch already.
Okay.
And we've seen him be a really...
Christian's almost had more appearances, I think, so far than Charlie. And Charlie's an actual main cast member.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen Charlie in the pilot and when he got hung up.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So yeah, they have the strangest conversation that two strangers could have in an airport bar. Yeah, because Christian's coming off real creepy.
Yeah,
and he convinces Ana Lucia to come to Sydney, Australia with him. Is there another Sydney I need to be made aware of? Because he's like, Sydney, beat, Australia. Like, yeah, fucking dude, we all know where Sydney is.
I have a cousin, Sydney.
That's not who he's talking about.
I'm going to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma.
Oh, thank you. I was unaware.
Yeah, Chris is a super creep here, and like obviously pretty drunk.
Yeah, he's just putting off real creepy vibes. They create secret, sexy, not sexy, spy code names for one another at the bar.
Right. Now, I did appreciate this a lot because I was doing the exact same thing for every single character where I was just giving them names based on what I thought they looked like.
Okay, which brings me to a little segment of the show here called Codenames. So, Eric, if you and I were to meet in an airport bar and we didn't know each other and we decided that we were going to take a trip together, but we had to have spy names for one another, let's see what. His exact words were, you have to pick a name for me. So I want each of us to pick a name for one another. That's all
right. We're just gonna say them on 3.
Yeah. So Eric, what's your name for me?
I think if I walked up to you in a bar and told you I was going to Sydney, Australia, and then I needed to come up with a name for you, I would call you Garrett.
Is it Garrett with a question mark at the end? Okay. Now. All right. Then I think I'm gonna call you Jeb.
Ooh.
I would if you were to call me, Eric, you walked up to me and we had to, and you were like, hey, I'm going to Sydney, Australia, and you are gonna be my Garrett. I'd be like, all right, you're gonna be my Billy the Kid. Right?
Ooh.
Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they should. She was, she gives him the shitty one first. She gives him Tom, and then she could have been like, Or he could have came back and be like, all right, well, you're going to be Dick and Harry or whatever. Like, you know, even if somebody gives you a garbage thing to start with, like Tom, he could have made it awesome. But he was like, Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah, he whispered it, Sarah.
And I wrote here, isn't that the name of his daughter-in-law?
Is it?
I don't know. I didn't look it up because I guess I didn't want the mystery ruined for me.
I don't know. What's your secret name is Hambone.
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 That's a sick name. I'm going to put that in my Twitter bio.
Old Hambone. No, it's OL apostrophe. Old Hambone. You know, just old Hambone, Jeb, and
Garrett.
And Garrett. Garrett? Going on an adventure.
To Sydney.
To Sydney,
Oklahoma.
Australia.
Oh, right. Australia, sorry.
Yeah. I always get those screwed up. So she decides to go with creepy McDrunkfuck. She must have just had her passport on her.
Well, yeah, I guess because she just works at the airport. Like, she probably just has her passport in her pocket, probably, right? No.
In case she ever gets propositioned to go on an international trip at a bar after work. Like, come on.
Hey, listen.
These things happen.
I need you to be my protection, because I'm going to that real dangerous country, Australia. You know what happened to Steve Irwin. I need backup. Like, okay, I guess, you creepy drunk fuck. Yeah, pay for my ticket to go to Australia.
She must have been like mentally so spun out to say yes to this. Like, that's like her instincts of self-preservation, her confidence in her own abilities to do the right thing, all of it has to have gone so completely haywire for her to say yes to Christian in this moment. Because Christian, yes, there's nothing about any of his pitch that was like, this is an okay thing to do.
Right. Well, and so, okay, then we cut to them in Australia. She can't sleep. She's just railing tequila.
There's no reason to sleep if you're going to drink tequila. Like, I've been telling you this for decades. Like,
I know.
If you're going to be awake.
Yeah, those are the two options.
There's
very
sleep
binary.
or tequila. And
yes,
one of them is obviously better than the other.
Well, so she's up, you know, looking over the city, and Christian comes to her room drunk, and I was like, oh, this looks like a real bad situation again. Like, he just comes off as so creepy. Like, it's time for what?
It is
It's time for you to take a shower, my guy.
But she calls him out. She's like, oh yeah, if you've been doing nothing but drinking for 4 days, now it's time. Okay. Like, yeah. Just mid-bender, it's time for the plan.
So then they go to a house in the rain.
Yeah.
We don't know whose house it is. We can surmise from the conversation that it's someone that Christian has had a child with, because he's screaming about his daughter, I believe. Yeah. And that dangerous, super dangerous woman who was minding her own business in her own house is who Ana Lucia had to protect Christian from. Yeah. I still don't quite understand what the plan was here.
This is my takeaway from the end of that scene anyway, not even the end of this little the flashback storyline, and you guys can tell me what you think. But obviously the protection thing was a subterfuge. It wasn't like true or whatever like that. Dude, right. Christian was afraid to go alone. Yeah. And it wasn't because he actually needed protection. He was more afraid of being by himself.
Because that's exactly what she does. Michelle Rodriguez, Ana Lucia, just like pulls him off of the porch for just like screaming at this poor woman in the rain in the middle of the night. And then they don't talk about it till the next morning, because they're driving the next morning still, and then she asks, who was that woman?
I, for the briefest second, thought that Christian was drunk driving until I remembered that in Australia the wheel is on the other side of the car.
Get that man on the other side of the car.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't talk about it till the next morning, whatever. And he's just like, he's content to continue the bender. He's just like, hey, we pulled up in front of a bar, and then he talks about fate and like destiny and how they're meant to be together, and like.
And he goes into a bar, and just goes to have a cocktail, a nice early morning cocktail, and then that's all we see of Christian until we find out that somehow he's died. Because Jack is at the ticket counter really being a piece of shit to the fucking airline person.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's Jack's dad?
Oh,
Do you not know about this, JP?
What?
That Christian was dead?
No?
Like the whole time?
I'm watching this show out of order. No, I don't know that.
I thought they talked. Maybe they didn't. This is what's happening. My memory, like I could be totally misremembering the pilot now that it's been months gone. But like I thought that they talked about that in the pilot, but maybe they didn't.
Not that I remember.
Okay.
I don't know. Then, so Christian is
that
Jack's
makes
dad.
sense that you don't know that Christian's dead and Jack's.
A lot of these things are starting to fall back into place now.
Yeah, Eric, I'm sorry. We gave you a real rough one to just jump in on.
No, it's fine. It's just, I don't know. There's people dying all over the place. There's people that I thought were alive that aren't now, and people traveling all over the world. And I think he hit Sawyer with the car door.
It happened.
Is that what happened?
Sawyer's in Sydney.
Sawyer went, I'm walking here.
Yeah.
Boy.
That was Sawyer, just outside of the cocktail bar.
Yeah, everyone's intertwined in everybody's stories. We're getting more and more of that as we go along. And yeah, Jack's just being a shithead at the counter, just weaving this story to this poor person who's probably making minimum wage. Then Ana Lucia wants to go back home.
She's overhearing Jack, and that kind of spurs in her the moment of like, okay, I saw what kind of like loneliness a person can be driven to when they are trying to run from their problems by like spending these days with Christian, and then hearing how like Jack's rant at the ticket counter, that's what like ultimately causes her to want to like be like, okay, like I gotta get home. Like I don't want to be Christian. I don't want to be Jack or whoever these two people are. I want things to get better. Which I mean, and again, not to like denigrate reaching out to a loved one in a time of distress or something like that, but like
just don't use the words mommy
say
and daddy.
Mom, yeah.
Hey ma.
Hey, mom, madre. You know,
I'm gonna need a fucking ride from the airport. Let's go.
Right. And she offers, and she's got, well, and I looked this up just because I was curious, but like that's a 14-hour flight, so she's got plenty of time to like if somebody like JP, if you called me and be like, hey, I'm coming to LA, can you come pick me up? I'd be like, eat me, get a lift. Like that's 45 minutes from my house. I'm not doing that. But like if you were coming from Sydney, I'd be like, oh, I got all kinds of time to prepare for that.
Sure. I can arrange for a taxi to come pick you up. Should we wrap things up in the hatch?
That's probably we should probably address that. Sure.
Yeah.
Things were wrapped up in the hatch.
Well, okay, so first, and we didn't touch on this, but Michelle Rodriguez, Ana Lucia is going to kill Ben and then doesn't, and is really mad at herself that she can't just kill another human being.
Yeah. I wrote that here. I couldn't even kill him. Like, that's a character flaw. Like, that's something to be ashamed of.
Right. I couldn't kill him. Good.
That guy made me look foolish, and I could not kill him, and something is wrong with me.
But maybe that was just her PD training kicking in. Like,
that's what I'm saying, man. They'll never let me back on the force if I can't just kill this man.
She says she can't kill him, and Michael's like, well, let me do it. He's got as much reason to hate the others as anybody else because they took Walt. He's seen him, like he's all aggro. So he asks Ana Lucia for the gun to do it for her, to kill Henry for her.
Yeah, and then he apologizes.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking
just kills Ana Lucia instead.
Just straight. It caught me off guard.
I'm gonna say I've seen this before. How did this strike the two of you?
As someone who didn't really know or really care about these characters, I was shocked.
Yeah. I mean, because literally right up until he says the words "I'm sorry," I'm still thinking, oh, he's gonna go shoot Ben, but John Locke will come in and be like, hey, what are you kids doing in here? Put that gun down. What is that? Or he'll like spear throw his crutch across the room and stop him. But no, he just turns and shoots and kills her, just sitting there right on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And then our new friend, whose name I barely know,
Libby.
Yeah, Libby's
trying to she's the big takeaway from the beach date was that she's into it. She's digging on Hurley. There's one little last moment there where he's like, hey, maybe I'll get drunk enough to remember where I know you from. So apparently Hurley knows her from somewhere else, and she seems to be a little bit apprehensive about that, but she heads to the hatch to get blankets for their picnic. And this is very much wrong place, wrong time, because she walks in and startles Michael, and Michael shoots her too.
It was like 3 times too. It wasn't even like it was like a
it's and then he opens up the room with Ben in it. They have a little discussion, and then he shoots himself.
I misremembered the end of this episode from back when I first saw it. I thought that I did not realize that it ended on Michael shooting himself. I thought there was still a little bit to go, and that we were going to get sort of like that was probably more of an effective cliffhanger than the cliffhanger I was remembering in my own head, because I think the thing I'm remembering is the beginning of the next episode.
We do have to have a conversation though. I mean, boy, what a odd time to be recording this podcast, but it's interesting how because what year did this episode
2006.
Yeah, so in 2006, how this show was presented to just mainstream media. Everybody was watching Lost. Everybody was tuning into ABC to check out Lost, and how a police murder cover up is just kind of brushed under the rug, and her ability to murder someone sort of without consequence, and then also her self-shame for not just being able to murder someone. It doesn't hold up real good.
It's you can't imagine that a scene like that would be written in a show that would air in this upcoming 2020 television season.
Oh, not even a little.
You have currently already shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and other cop dramas. Like, they've spent years and years and years doing like this propaganda style television of like painting police officers in a very heroic light, and like, yes, they're complicated and they sometimes have to make all these split seconds decisions and all that stuff like that. But yeah, it's an odd time, because now people in general are, I think, starting to be a little bit more critical of that narrative that comes from ABC, CBS, Fox, when they make their narratives, their media, their shows.
That was kind of always in the back of my head while watching this episode, because we start off with a lot of that, and I'm just kind of just puts a weird taste in your mouth with the current climate of the country.
So, JP, did you like this episode?
Yeah. I like that it had a real shocking ending, and that the show, it doesn't want you to get too comfortable. Like, we just iced like 3 characters all at once, and in that regard, the show is training you not to trust the show, not to trust any sort of, I know how this show goes. All these characters that I know by name are safe because I know them by name.
Yeah. And there's a ramp up here too, because this is I think 2 or 3 episodes away from the finale, so like things are definitely coming to a head as far as season 2 itself is concerned.
Right. Eric, so I mean, you haven't watched much.
This is like the 3rd episode officially that you've seen.
Yeah, you haven't watched,
and I remember nothing about it.
Right. So as like just watching this as like a self-contained piece of media, like just an episode. How did you like this? Did you not like this? How was this in terms of overall storytelling? Like,
I feel like it's definitely an episode that requires not even just like character knowledge and context for the pieces on the show, but kind of context for how they put an episode together. Sure. Whereas like they were jumping all over the place, and a lot of the dialogue was stuff that would have worked, but it just kind of came off as them saying facts at each other for trying to like put together like where they were, what day, like what year it is, and trying to like put together a timeline that I had no other context for. So like when somebody just goes over and they're just talking about like, Anna, you are a police officer, what are you doing? And like, oh, okay, so this is back in the past. Like, or something like that. And like, I wouldn't say it wasn't enjoyable. I enjoyed the hour that I spent with it. I'm not exactly clamoring for more right now.
Sure.
Just because of the tonal whiplash of these like 4 concurrent storylines going on was a lot to take in.
And, you know, again, watching a show out of order is not the way to consume media.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like,
but-
if JP and I were trying to get you to become a fan of Lost, we're going about it in the wrong way.
I'm just saying J.J. Abrams should have accounted for this.
But it does hold true to our original hypothesis that because the show jumps around so much in time, you can still watch it out of order like we are and still just get the gist of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Did you like it, Adam?
Yeah, Adam, what'd you think?
I would probably say no.
Okay.
The present storyline. Okay, well, I liked the flashback part of it, which I tend to like more in episodes where the present day island storyline is so fragmented. If I could take and watch a half-hour show of just like Ana Lucia having demons and having, you know, being this arguably evil person to start and searching for some sort of redemption or something like that, I like that story to an extent. And I like the C plot. I liked you know, getting to know her, Hurley and Libby, and it was sad to see it end so tragically. But like on the whole, I say this episode, I probably wasn't a fan of it. I would say, especially comparing it to when I watched it back in the day, I probably didn't like it when I probably got to the end of this one. I was like, I would much rather just get to whatever's happening next. Right now, I don't care what is happening presently.
It's setting the stage for more interesting things to happen.
Yes.
Like look at Jack's storyline. Jack, all he did was get Michael to the hatch and go yell at Sawyer for some guns. Like it took him the entire episode to do those 2 things. We're setting the stage for a lot more interesting stuff to happen.
Yeah. Let's do MVPs now.
Okay.
Lost MVPs are our favorite character of the episode, regardless of any other knowledge that you have of this character. This will be very easy for you, Eric. Eric, who is your Lost MVP for 2 for the Road?
Honestly, my Lost MVP for 2 for the Road is probably Hurley. Like, he was very uninvolved with a lot of it. I didn't really care for much of Ana Lucia's whole thing or creepy old guy or any of the stuff going on in the hatch. Hurley just seemed genuine. He was just there to have a good time, and I feel bad for what's about to happen to Hurley in 221 and onward. And I want nothing but the best for that man.
Yeah,
and we've talked about that before. It's kind of hard to hate him.
Yeah,
and he's in for a rough road. So
and sadly, we won't get to find out what happens immediately after this because we don't watch the next episode, which is ? For probably a year.
Yeah,
I think it's like.
Plenty of time.
25 episodes down the road for
Hurley to process his grief.
We'll have you back on for that one, Eric. Busher, MVP.
MVP, one and only Jin, out there grinding for the community, not getting involved in the nonsense. You know what? There's work to be done on the beach to make sure that everybody can make it from the sunrise to sunset. One of those things is catching fish. One person on the beach is super good at it. And Jin's out here doing it. MVP, Jin.
Yes, absolutely.
JP, what is your Lost MVP?
Edward Craven Walker.
Who?
The guy that invented the lava lamp. In the final scene, my notes go as follows. Oh fuck, lava lamp. Oh fuck! Because in the middle of the room, in between Michael and a dead body, is a lava lamp, and that's all I could see because it is framed dead center. And I thought, oh well, it was nice to break up the second and third murders with just a nice sort of reddish purple lava lamp in the middle of the room. So I appreciated what Mr. Walker did for everyone by making lava lamps.
Had to, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Lost Forever, our least favorite character of the episode, regardless of what you know about them, past or present or future. Just 2 for the Road. Lost Forever. Eric.
I feel like this might be the popular choice, so I'm going to go with it anyway. It's got to be Sawyer's, man. chronicled his myriad of fuck ups this episode. And it's just, you killed 3 people by just losing track of the gun, dude.
Right. Yeah. That is not responsible gun ownership, my dude.
No.
Oh my god. Yeah, Sawyer. I'm sure at some point Sawyer will be on our good side because writers always do that, you know.
I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to be season 2 of the podcast. It's going to be seasons 4, 5, and 6. That's when you'll probably get on his side.
Okay.
I'm surprised he makes it that long.
Yeah, no shit. Busher.
Let's see, what do I got here? Lost forever. If I had evidence that the thing that Locke needed to tell Jack would have saved Libby's life, then it would be Locke. Because the last thing we hear out of Locke is, oh, Jack, I have something to tell you once they realize the gun is missing. If whatever that piece of information was saves Libby's life, it's Locke. Barring any evidence of that, it's Michael, the person who actually killed her.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, John was trying to cover for her, you know, like...
But I don't know why. Like...
Because she got her ass kicked by a guy who was all tied up.
Telling the truth there would have kept everybody safer. Oh, hey, guess who doesn't get to be alone with the prisoners anymore? Ana Lucia.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Remember, just the last episode, you were talking about responsible prisoner detention, not going into an area with prisoners with a weapon. Saeed was the only one doing it responsibly. He's the only one who should be on guard duty, but he's digging a hole or something, and not understanding say anything references. I forgot to mention that when Hurley was like, oh, you should check it out, you know, if we ever get off this island, and I was like, same dude, like, I feel you. Yeah. Like if I can ever leave my apartment again, I absolutely will go watch a movie.
Well, okay, so that's gonna take me to my Lost Forever.
Yeah, JP hit it.
I think it's Hurley because he's lying. He has not seen Say Anything. He's just saying the one part about the movie that everybody else knows. I'm like, Hurley, give me 3 other scenes of that movie. I don't think you can do it.
He talks about the dad going to jail.
Shut up. You're
the ending of the movie.
Listen, have you seen Say Anything? Because I haven't, so I don't know if that actually happens in the movie.
I have seen it. Say Anything. It is actually a pretty good movie, and I would have to agree with Hurley. If you get a chance to check it out, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna watch.
Your eyes, the light, the heat. You know, get Peter Gabriel. You don't forget it.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Lost on Lost. No.
Burning questions. Eric or JP, did you guys have one? Something that got brought up in this episode that didn't get answered that you hope gets answered at some point in the future, or hope was covered in a previous episode that we haven't seen.
Does Sawyer have sex by just sticking his dick through the zipper of his pants?
That is a very good burning question, Eric.
Does Evangeline Lilly do anything ever?
Also a very good question. The answer to both of those are no.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I got what I needed.
Well,
that's pretty much gonna do it for the end of the episode segments. Eric, you got anything to plug? You already got anything that you want the people at home to know about?
I am on Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me on Twitter at Eric Rudkin, and you can find me on Twitch at DTJ Melons.
DJ Melons, what do you do on Twitch? Call of Duty Warzone?
A lot of that recently, yeah. Kind of just do a variety of things. I'm going to try to get more into tactics games upcoming for the next few months. So if you're into those,
check that out. Yep.
Hit me up.
Very good.
Eric, thank you. Thanks for hanging out for us.
Thank you for having me on.
You know, we were very excited to have you on, and we had a really good time. And if you would want to come back, we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, I would love to. Can get another hour of context in this great adventure called Lost.
We'll bring you on for Hurley's heartbreak.
Yeah. Man.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yeah, if you're trying to be lost with us, check out the next episode we're going to be doing. We'll be doing season 3, episode 6. I Do. And as an added bonus, next week we'll also be watching our first Lost Missing Pieces webisode, Ours and Crafts.
I don't know what the fuck any of that means.
Okay. I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on the show?
No.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by Adam Busher and J.P. Russell.
Recorded on location in Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Los Angeles, California.
Our show is hosted at Podbean. Find us there or wherever you find your podcasts.
Thanks to Danny Schmitz of Lost in a Name for our theme music.
Lostpedia and the community of contributors there.
Random.org for creating the watch order.
Check out our Facebook page, Lost on Lost, or find us on Twitter and Instagram at LostOnLost1.
Don't follow those jerks at Lost on Lost 2.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com. If you like what we're getting into here, buy us a coffee at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
That's ko-fi.com/wearelostonlost.